Hello, this is Conquering History Games, and today it is time for the long-awaited Hawaiian introductory guide as chosen by my Patreon voters. So, what you are going to usually want to do when you want to play as Hawaii is you want to start as the United States, because Hawaii is going to be the one that breaks off from it. But what I'm actually just going to do is I'm just going to jump ahead to when the Civil War is already going to happen as the United States. So I'll see you over there. Alright, now it is almost the end of the year in 1936. The Civil War has begun. The combined syndicates of America have broken off from the United States, as have the Pacific States of America and the American Union State. I've already got guides on those. So now the territory of Hawaii out here is revolting, and also they've decided to proclaim their independence. So you just click We Should Have Expected This, play as Hawaii. You make the transition, and also the United States gets an additional 60 political power. And now you are Hawaii, and you begin in an awfully bad position, but let's just let some time go by so that some of the event pop-ups that are going to happen can go through. So you're going to create the Hawaiian government here underneath Henry Alexander Baldwin, and then this is something I think they added just a couple of patches ago where Hawaii now occupies several Pacific islands. This might be slightly subject to change in the future. For example, you have Samoa here, which I've already seen the screenshots. This is going to be owned by Germany, so you're not even going to have that dockyard as far as I know moving forward. You also just have your 3 militia units. That is it. That's all you've got to your name here. So this is as good a spot as any to talk about the position Hawaii will find itself in at the start of its game. Now, what I've done here, and not that I recommend you do it, is as the United States, I did not build anything, any sort of infrastructure here in Hawaii for the roughly year that I was in power. That is something that you are going to probably want to do, though, when it comes time for you to play a game as Hawaii. Why? Because you only have 2 civilian factories. One is being consumed by consumer goods, and you may notice there is no military factory button here. If you go over to the production window, you have nothing. You do not have a single military factory to your name, and you only have 2 building slots and 30 infrastructure. And there's not really anything of value on these other places either. So, you know, the Johnson Atoll is not going with its 1 manpower. It's 1 civilian who's living there. He must be the guy who keeps the naval base in a line. He's got his hammer and his nails, and he makes sure it doesn't fall apart. That's all you've got going for you. As far as commanders go, as usual when you're the United States, you have no shortage of options. Interestingly enough, you have not 1 but 2 generals that have the ability, a bearer of artillery, so that's going to give you an additional 15% artillery attack here. You don't have any field marshals, but you also have commandos and engineers and things like that. So because you have that bearer of artillery, just like when you're playing as California, that's kind of hinting that maybe you want to try out the superior firepower path of your military land doctrine. Now, research slots, you've only got 2, and if we look over here at the national focus, you have to do a few here before you're going to be able to get your 4th research slot. As far as your national focuses go, we're going to skip over the future of Hawaii here for a minute. Now, you have the building our economy tree, which is just your industry stuff. The main thing I would like to point out here is that domestic industry here, if you decide to make this your 2nd focus, you can finally get a military factory pretty quick if you have not built one there as the United States. So that might be something you want to rush for. Also, you have a decision between getting plantation support, where it's going to reduce your consumer good factories and increase your resource efficiency gain. Now, that might be something you want to do if you find yourself conquering a lot of land relatively early and getting some more factories, but a minus 5% consumer goods factory is not going to do much when you only have 2 civilian factories. Over here on land reform, though, you can get an additional 5% monthly population. And right now, you've only got 418 manpower, although you admittedly are only on volunteer only, but there's not a lot to draw on as Hawaii. Over here in the Navy, nothing particularly interesting. You know, you can get your marine technology bonus here, and then you can go either submarines or capital ships. Your land doctrine tree, very small. The whole tree is very small. I think it might actually even be smaller than the Soviet Union Kaiserreich tree. You could decide if you want to get a bonus for superior firepower or grand battle plan. Of course, you're more than welcome to try other paths if you want. Also, the Hawaiians are the only offshoot of the United States that at the end of their land doctrine tree do not get the Army Ranger National Spirit, which increases the effectiveness of their reconnaissance. Over here, the Air Force, again, nothing particularly amazing here. It's just fighters or bombers, although down here, I mean, if you're going to be playing a Hawaiian game, you're probably going to be playing well into the 50s and 60s. You actually can get your jet and rocketry technology quicker by taking that. Foreign policy, even though you cannot select it yet until you have completed some of the focuses over here, I actually want to go over this now because this is what determines what your political choices are. So, you cannot take any foreign policies until you have either restored the monarchy, created the Hawaiian Republic, or done the Hawaiian Revolution. But you have four options here. You can become an American protectorate, so that's where you'll join the United States in a faction. Have to be clear here. I really want you to understand this, that this will not work unless the United States has created the faction, the American Alliance faction, which it will form with the Pacific States of America sometimes, but very rarely. So you're going to want to keep an eye out on that. As far as joining the international, the main obstacle for you, the requirement for you to join the Third International has to be that you yourself are ruled by totalists, radical socialists, or by syndicalists. And of course, that could be a tempting policy to take because the Third International is so very, very strong. I'm going to skip over the Entente for a minute, and let's talk about joining Japan. Again, it has its own requirements. You cannot have taken the Hawaiian Revolution because that is going to turn you far to the left, but also Japan has to have created its own faction already. You are not creating a faction with these national focuses, you are joining existing ones. And so you may want to keep an eye on what Japan is doing with its focus tree, because its faction creation is right here, founding the Co-Prosperity Sphere, which it very, very rarely does, at least as of 0.4.8. Moving back to the National Focus Tree, and to the Entente. So the Entente is going to be what you are going to join most of the time, unless you just continuously reset and try to get lucky. It's basically a choice between joining the International and joining the Entente, which will take you whether you become a monarchy or a republic. And this actually does not require Canada to be the faction leader, so if for some reason Canada has already capitulated, you still can do that. Now, this second row down here, they all do the same thing. It just depends on what faction you have joined. You first will get a business ties effect, which reduces your consumer good factories, and then you get a friendship effect where you get friendlier with the other members of your faction. And then the last thing in each of these trees will be where you join their science foundations. There's never really any reason to actually take these three focuses. You end up joining their research societies anyway. So, moving back over here to the far left, the future of Hawaii, that is the first choice you have to make. So let's just go ahead and take that focus first, and I'll see you when that event pops up. Now, after you take the future of Hawaii, you are going to get a choice between restoring the monarchy, creating the Hawaiian Republic, or if you want there to be a Hawaiian Revolution. Again, just like on the far right, these focuses all do effectively the same thing no matter which of the choices you make. On the left, you will get 150 political power, and then on the right, you're going to get 100 political power, and it will also increase the popularity of parties that are associated with your political ideology. So in the case of the monarchs, as you can see, that means social conservatives, market liberals, social democrats, and social liberals become more popular. But if you go over here to the Pineapple Union, because obviously it's a reference to SpongeBob, we all know that SpongeBob was a communist, Krusty Krab is unfair. Mr. Krabs is in there standing at the concession plotting his oppression. This is known by everybody. So this makes the syndicalists and the radical socialists more popular. Now, if you go down here to this row, you just get a 5% research time bonus and 1 research slot. You're going to need it, just like you're going to really need the science societies that your faction has, because there's just no way that you can even hope to keep the technologically in view of everybody else if you don't have that. So here's where the difference is. Your next to last focus in each of these trees is a little bit different, though. It's going to give you a national spirit. In the case of restoring the monarchy, you're going to get the daily political power gain, which they all give, but you also get more national unity and more monthly population. The multiculturalism also gives you natural unity, but instead of a daily population, you get less supply consumption. And then the People's Victory is going to increase your production efficiency cap. And then the Hawaiian Constitution gives you unity, but more importantly, it gives you a big 250 political power. Now, there are a couple of small things that can happen during this tree, which I will now show you. And by the way, this is who your monarch is in Hawaii, is Honorable Majesty Jonah Kuahio Kala Niahalaoli. Sorry, Hawaiians, for that awful pronunciation. Now, at this point in the game, I have completed the Kingdom of Hawaii's focus tree as far as the restoration of the monarch is concerned, and you actually are going to have an election, so you can choose between social conservatives, market liberals, social liberals, and social democrats. There will be 3 of these elections in total. They happen periodically throughout the game. And you can choose to change who the ruling party is. There's nobody saying that you can't do that, but what you're probably going to want to do is continuously use these elections to increase the popularity of your chosen party. So, for example, here, he is a market liberal, so we are going to go with the Reform Party, even though it only gives us 25 political power compared to possibly getting 50 if we went socially liberal. As you see now, the Reform Party is 73% popular, so its popularity as far as the laws and government go is going to change. So we go from medium popularity, which gives half a political point a day, to the high popularity, which gives 3/4 of a political power point a day. Of course, like I said, nothing stopping you from switching parties every time if you feel like doing that. So this is a path where you go with the Hawaiian Revolution, and instantly you do get a different flag. This is actually my personal favorite of the Hawaiian flags. It's very simple, but it looks good. You then are going to have your election of the General Secretary when you pass the Hawaiian's Constitution, and it's just you deciding if you want the Syndicalists to win, the Radical Socialists, or perhaps the Social Democrats. So you can go to the left, but not quite into the red if you so choose. Until then, you're just going to be ruled by the People's Council of Hawaii. So let's say you decided to go with the Syndicalists because they're the most popular thing that you've got. As you see, this still only gets you to 39% population. So unlike many other Syndicalist countries in the game, there's a relatively little political power that's going to be coming your way strictly as a result of your party popularity. I have this 400 up here because I just did the 250 political power national focus, although you do have some nice bonuses here right now. Finally, let's take a look at the Republic. So if you go down the Republic version of Hawaii, again, you will have an election of the president when you complete the focus for the new constitution. And again, you can choose between the social conservatives, the market liberals, the social liberals, and the social democrats, as you can see here. Henry Baldwin will die, and you'll get different ministers and stuff. I leave it to you to decide what ministers that you want at any given time. And do remember, there will, again, be subsequent elections where you can increase the popularity of your various whatever party you pick. If you're playing as Hawaii, it really is a long-term game. So since the guide right now would be relatively short, I just want to talk a little bit about possible strategies you can use to win as Hawaii. So I'm going to cut to a playthrough that I once did. In this situation, it's 1940 right now. I've got 7 entire divisions. This was a playthrough where, again, I did not build anything in Hawaii before I made the transition over, so I had to do everything from scratch. I already have done quite a lot of the focus trees. You can see I've done the land reform because I wanted to get that extra population boost. I've already completed the Hawaiian Constitution. I'm working on my land doctrine, and I already joined the Entente because neither Japan nor the United States created their own faction, but I also wanted to demonstrate what it would be like to try to retake the United States. So, as I've said, it's already 1940, and I was able to just now just defeat the Pacific states of America. So I actually own both Alaska, Hawaii, Oregon, and let's see, did they? Yeah, it is Columbia. The Pacific states did decide to call it that, and California, of course. So now I've actually got a decent enough base. I have, a lot of factories now, or at least much more than I had, and the American Civil War is still going on, so I could potentially get in there. I could justify on the United States from this position. I could justify on the CSA pretty quick, as well as the American Union state, and I'm going to have Canada there to help me. But the thing is, the Canadians, the Canucks, are currently at war with the Commune of France and the Union of Britain and everybody else. So they're going to be committing their strength over there until that war is over. So I could possibly join the war and go help them out or something like that. Because, although there are some divisions here, and then perhaps if the American Union state, the United States, and Canada all gang up on the CSA, there's a much better position to defeat them, because we all know how strong the CSA is. Now, this was a game where I did not have luck on my side, nor did I give any additional infrastructure to the Kingdom of Hawaii before I actually transitioned over to it. So I wasn't able to get the PSA until 1940, 4 years into the game. So this is to demonstrate that when you are playing as Hawaii, it could be a very slow process. Now, you don't necessarily have to go with the Entente, but I know it appeals to some people to try and defeat the United States. However, let's say you join the International, you're in a pretty good spot to take out these German territories down here, because they almost never have soldiers out here. You just need to build a couple submarines, and you should be able to island hop your way, perhaps one day eventually, to Indochina. But I feel that the Entente is the best way to go, because they're also going to usually seize the Panama Canal, and so that puts you in a position to attack Central America or Panama or any of these other South American countries. You're just really trying to pick here and there any countries off. But if you want to defeat the United States and all the offshoot countries, here's the way that you got to do it. You have to become MacArthur as the United States when it starts. And you have to wait to get the pop-up that'll usually happen where New England is going to be absorbed by Canada. You then have to declare war on Canada over it, then make the switch over to Hawaii. Then as Hawaii, join the Entente, join them in that war, and help defeat the United States. When you do that, because Canada does not have cores on any of this land, and I've done this twice, they will just give you their victory points. Again, I've done it twice. That's what it seems to work for me. And so because they are giving you their victory points, you will be able to take much more of the land. So, of course, you're going to want to prioritize Texas down here because they have a lot of building slots and the oil and stuff like that. However, because Canada will be going to war with the United States, what they will do 99% of the time is they will form non-aggression pacts with the combined syndicates of America and the American Union state. And as a result of that, you will not be able to justify war on them until those non-aggression pacts expire, which can take a couple of years, unless you choose to leave the faction and try your luck on your own. But let's just take a moment now to see what happens if you were to annex the rest of the United States. Okay, so let's let some time go by here. Oh yeah, and also what you're going to want to watch out for, because I took the Pacific states, is I'm actually being justified on by Mexico. So here we go. So you're going to get the fate of America, where you can liberate them or divide them or balkanize them, which is, always fun, or continue to occupy them, which is going to cost you an enormous amount of political power. But we can wait here all day, and you are not going to get a pop-up like you would if you were, say, the CSA or the AUS, where you have the end of the American civil war, and you're going to be getting that negative national spirit. However, you also do not get anything where it says that you are the new United States or anything. Now you are really just the United States. But there is no event pop-up as of 0.4.8 related to defeating the United States. It's just like any other territory in the world. So, give it a try if you want. Hawaii is fun. They're just very long games. And I hope this guide was helpful for you. So please subscribe to Conquering History Games and click that little bell so you're always notified whenever a new video goes up or I'm live streaming. Like the video if you did like it, and have a great day. And thanks to all of my Patreon supporters who vote on what these guides are going to be. And remember, if you become a Patreon supporter, you can vote on it too. Have a wonderful day.